Okay, he's in the bubble, Mr. Kanter.
Yeah,
My what are my Celtics? It's good to see you. It's good to see your face. I'm happy.
hey,
Basketball's
I'm
back.
good. I'm good, but I appreciate for all the support. I've been for following you, so and all the thanks for all the love that you give to say Celtics. Definitely means a lot.
Well, my son and I sat, we got last minute, we got seats right next to the Celtics bench for a Celtics Clippers game. And
Okay.
he was sitting next to the players. And you gave him like 5 high fives during the game and
Oh,
were
I did.
super nice
Okay.
to him. So he loves you now. Yeah, he's like
Oh,
that
I,
guy. That guy was really nice to me.
tell him I say hi. That's good.
How did you stay in shape during the pandemic? What were you doing?
I mean, first during the pandemic, it was Ramadan, so I fasted most of the time, so I didn't gain
Yeah.
that much weight. But like to me, the problem was like we couldn't really go anywhere to just practice or work out. So like literally, I was at home trying to do the best I can to stay in shape. I was
Right.
lifting suitcases full of clothes, you know.
You were
So
lifting suitcases? This
I
is
swear
a thing that happened? Oh my God.
because like I didn't have any weights in my house, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta stay in shape. And we had this like Zoom meetings with the our strength coach, and like
Yeah.
he was telling us like what to do and stuff. I'm like, I got no weight, so like I gotta start using like the suitcases. I was doing squats with it, the curls with it, and stuff. It
Did
was
you have
good.
a did you have a hoop at your house or did you have to you didn't even have that?
So my man, I actually went to Chicago. My manager had a hoop in his house, so like I started working out there,
Yeah.
and it was a blessing. Trust me, it was like I was dying to just go out there and play basketball again.
So it seems like as this comes back and everybody goes back into the bubble, it's gone
Mhm.
one of two ways. Either some people are like hesitant, but they know from a financial standpoint, from a
Yeah.
standpoint of the collective bargaining agreement, they kind of have to go along with this. And then there's
hmm
another side that's like, I just love basketball. I'm so happy I'm
I
back here. Which side are you on?
I mean, let me tell you something. Not just me, but like that. We had a conversation with the whole Celtics. We knew about like the financial stuff, all that stuff, but like we just said we just want to go out there and play basketball, man, because we miss just being around each other. We miss having fun at practice. We miss just having fun with each other. I think it's just for me it was just the fun part. I miss
Yeah.
playing basketball. So it just, especially like when you lose it, you understand how important it is. Just being around with
Right.
my teammates, play basketball, trash talk them in the practice. So like that's what I missed the
Yeah. I was talking to JJ Redick about it this week, and he
most.
was saying how, all you guys have been playing basketball since you were like 4 years old, 5 years old,
Right.
6 years old, whatever. And it's been like a constant. And to
hmm
just have that taken away
Exactly.
for
Yep.
3 months, 3.5 months is just disorienting. There's never been a time in your life probably where you just didn't play
Yep.
basketball for 3 weeks unless you were hurt.
I mean, you appreciate more. Whenever you're out there, you're like, man, I couldn't play basketball for like what 3 months now. So like, whenever you practice, whenever you work out, whenever you do individual work or lift, you're like, you appreciate the work more.
Right. Um, you guys really liked each other this year, which was a lot different than last
Yeah,
year. Well, you were not on last year's team.
yeah.
Um, what have you heard about last year compared to this year? Or have you not heard anything? It's just everybody's happy this year.
First of all, I mean, we this year we are just all basketball players. We know how to go out there and play basketball and hoop. The important thing is, man, for us to just build that chemistry because
Yeah.
it was so important. The better friends we become, the better the teammates we are going to be. So we know that from the day one, Coach Brett said, "Hey, you know, the important thing is just becoming good friends, being always have each other's back, no matter what. On the court, we're right or we're wrong, have each other's back. You
Yeah.
know, um, I heard like even like when I visited the mayor of Boston or when I visited the governor, they all say the same thing. Wow, this year's team is way different than way different than last year's team. I'm like, what happened last year that just even like the governor and mayors and everybody talks about it. But I think
Yeah.
our focus right now is just this year what we can do, what can we bring there to the table, and how can we help each other.
Yeah. I think last year's team, it was interesting because the team had overachieved for a few years there with Stevens, and there was that really memorable Isaiah Thomas team in
Hmm. Hmm.
2017
Yeah.
when he was like a borderline MVP candidate. I think he finished like
Right.
5th or 6th in the voting. And it was just like the little team that could. It was all these mismatched pieces.
Right.
They loved playing with each other, and they were able to get to the conference finals. And then in 2018, Kyrie goes down. Same thing. They overachieved. They band together. And then last year was so jarring. And then coming back this year, so much fun to watch. And, I mean, obviously, when you have a pandemic, that trumps
Right.
everything that's happening.
Exactly.
But I really missed watching the team, and you think like,
I
yeah, it's not in the top 10 worst things of the pandemic, but at the same time, I was like, man, I really had grown attached to watching these guys. And I
right.
just feel this void that I don't get to watch games. So it's nice
It's
to have
like
you guys back.
yeah, man. So like especially like you said, like especially the beginning of this year, we had one goal to prove the haters wrong.
Yeah,
Because like man, like there was so many talks out there. It was like, hey, they lost two of their best players. They're not gonna be the same. They might finish it like maybe seventh or eighth.
right.
We came together actually. We had a conversation with the team. Steve was like, hey, let's just go out there, avoid all the distraction. Haters gonna hate. You can do nothing about it, and just go out there and just show the whole world that they're wrong about us. You know, and I think like we did an amazing job, man. I think our job is not done, but I think so far I feel like we did an amazing job.
Well, it's interesting. The Celts are not being mentioned as people start to wrap their heads around, all right, who's going to win the title? It looks like
Right?
basketball's coming back. And everybody's just like Bucks, Lakers, Clippers.
Yep.
This Celtics team played really well against the Lakers and Clippers. And if
Yeah.
anything, if you're going to make the case like who is going to be maybe a surprise entry in the finals or
Mhm.
whatever, you would point to those games, especially the two
Right.
Clippers games and both Laker games. And you would point to the young legs thing because you guys are going to be playing a ton of basketball in a short period
Yep.
of time. Wouldn't that advantage younger teams like the Celtics?
For sure, man. I mean, I would just say this first. I mean, when Lakers came to Boston, we beat them by 32, and when
Yeah.
we went there, they barely like what, with 2 points? Was it 2 points or 4 points or something like that?
Well, they
I,
I will say the refs were wearing the Laker jerseys in that game. There were
yep.
not a lot of calls for the Celtics in the fourth quarter of that game. But yeah, they won. But I felt like that was a
Um,
tight game.
yeah, but I feel like, man, I feel like we can beat every team on every floor. I'm not worried about anything else but just us. Like a lot
Right.
of people are, like you said, saying the Bucks, the Lakers, the Clippers, man. We're just focusing on us because I believe we have enough talent in that locker room to beat anybody.
Right.
We just need to stay together. I mean, obviously we had a very young team, but I think with the leading of Kemba Walker and Gordon
Yeah.
Hayward, man, I think it's gonna take us to the next level.
And there was a couple hiccups during the season that for like people like me that watch all the games, the
Mhm.
season ebbs and flows, guys get little injuries, whatever. Hayward got hurt right when he
Mhm.
was playing incredible.
Yep.
And he was arguably the best. He was playing the best out of anyone on the team. And you could really see the full potential of the three wings together. And then he hurt his hand.
Right.
And it never 100% came back. There were flashes of it, but not like before he got hurt. So I'm hoping with him, we'll see that consistency that we saw before he hurt his hand. And then Kemba started to have the knee issues. What's the deal with
Mhm.
him now? How does he look in these practices?
He looks good, man. He looks good. He looks leaner. He looks in really good shape. But right now, we need him in a long run. It's going to be a
Yeah,
long 8 games. After the 8 games, it's going to be a long playoff run.
yeah,
And we're going to need him in every position. So I feel like people. I mean, I see a lot of Celtics, fans are just commenting about it, but like they need to relax about it. I mean, that's in his nature.
good.
He just want to go out there and start hooping. I mean, he's Kemba Walker. He's an all-star.
Yeah,
So I'm not really worried about them. Man. But what amazed me so much is even when he's on the sideline, he talks a lot. He always engages with his teammate. He's a leader. He's leading his team. So that's what makes me really, excited.
why do people love him so much? I think even before he came to Boston, he was one
Yep.
of the most beloved guys in the league, even with guys on other teams. What is it about him?
I mean, I play with so many players. It's my ninth year in the league. He is definitely the most humble and down to earth superstar that I have seen, that I have played with.
Wow.
It's just the dude is just good, man. Good, just good human being. Obviously, you can. I mean, I can't say enough about his game. It's crazy what he does on the court, but it just off the court, man. He's just a good dude, down to earth, very humble, always, trying to help others, trying to help the rookies out. So like I like him a lot.
When Tatum had the little leap that he made, which was about
Hmm.
6 weeks before the pandemic hit, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's starting to look like, all right, this guy might actually be one of the 10 best players in the league.
Yep.
Could you show up in September?
Uh
Did
huh.
you see that coming from September to January? Did you feel like, oh, this guy's going to unlock something and something magical is going to happen here?
I never seen any player got so much better uh, during that like 4 or 5 months of period. You know,
Wow.
so like when he started the season, I mean, he was good. Obviously, he was still like one of the best players out there. But like before the pandemic, I mean, this dude what averaging what almost like 30 points. There was
Right.
no way stopping him. Some of the like the shots he made, we turn around like each other on the benches. Like, did he really do that? Like, did he really make that? But I mean, he's getting better, man. He's learning. This dude is still like 20, what, 22, 21,
Yeah.
22, something like that. I mean,
Right.
I think in like in few years, he's definitely going to be like top five, top six players in the league.
You played with two legendary workout guys,
Hmm.
Westbrook and Durant, two
Hmm.
guys who put in the time 24/7.
Right.
Where does his work ethic compare to those guys? I mean, he's younger. You weren't with Durant and Westbrook. When
Yeah.
did you show up in OKC? What, 2014, 15?
15. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were kind of established full veterans at that point. But where does he
Hmm.
rank with those guys with the work ethic?
I mean, he's definitely up there. I mean, obviously Westbrook and KD was definitely his their work ethic was something that I never seen it before. You know, his competitiveness, even like when they play one on one, it was just wild. You know, but I can see the same edge and same fire in Jason Tatum's eyes. I mean, whenever he's out there, whenever he plays one on one, whenever he plays 5 on 5, he's going out there to destroy everybody. You
Right.
know, so like I'm excited about it, man. Celtics fans should feel very lucky to have him in their side.
And he also, Jalen got there a year earlier than him. And
Hmm.
Jalen was awesome this season. And, I think is the type of player every single team is looking for in every draft, every free
Right.
agency, whatever. Um, I like that there's like I hesitate to call it competitiveness, but they came in on the team at the same time. They're basically both wing guys. And I think as Tatum gets better, in a weird way, that's better for Jalen too, because you
Hmm.
like brothers trying to catch up to each other.
Right.
Did
Right.
you
Right.
feel that this season?
I mean, they always push each other, man. Like in the practice, if they're in the same team, it gets ugly.
Yeah.
If they're the same team, it gets very ugly. But if they go against each other, man, they always push each other to be the best because obviously Jalen is. We know what Jalen can do, and we know what Jason can do. But like when they go at each other, it's like one of the most fun matchups I've ever watched because they just both good dudes, both good players. But you know what? They compete and they
Yeah.
are pushing each other in the practice, and that what makes them so good.
So when you got to OKC,
Hmm.
Durant had already won an MVP, and Westbrook was already like a top 7, 8 guy.
Hmm.
And media guys like me were saying, this can't last. One of them is going to have to eventually be the alpha dog. There's at some point, this has to be one of these two guys' team. Did you feel that when you were in OKC, did you feel like there was a little tug of war with whose team it was?
Well, like, see, when I was with OKC, we never sort of in the locker room. Like, as any of the players, I mean, they respect each other so much.
Right.
Obviously, the KD and Russ. Obviously, like you said, media was just always like trying to like say, okay, who is this team, whatever. But I think
That's what we do.
it, exactly. I know, just for, but like, no, man, like we never felt that really in the locker room. They
Yeah.
respected each other so much. I mean, obviously when they were going against each other, even in a practice, it was so much fun, so much trash to talking, obviously. But other than that, man, they were just competing in the highest level. So I mean, we never felt that. We never said, okay, this is Katie's team or this is Russ' team. We were saying, okay, this is Oklahoma City Thunder, and
Yeah.
let's go out there and play together.
When you think back now, it's been a few years, 4 years
Hmm.
since that Warriors series. You're up 3-1.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It seems like you have it. I went to game 5 in Oakland, and I actually thought you guys were going to win. I thought you were just better. I thought the Warriors were worn down from the
Yeah.
73 win season, all that stuff. And KD didn't play well. Westbrook didn't play well. You lose, but you're hanging around in that game, and it felt like game 6, this is done. This is a wrap.
Yeah.
And you're up 10, you're up 11, you're up 9, but you never land the knockout blow to go up like by 18. They hang around. Clay has an out-of-body experience. Steph makes a couple threes. All of a sudden, you lose. What was that like during that game?
It was tough, man. Every time I still go out, whenever I go to Auckland, I just like it comes back like bad memories. Still remember that game. I hate that arena. I'm glad that they changed it now. But going to Game 7, in Auckland, I just saw in people's eyes. It was just everybody was just so down. Going to Game 7, because when we were up 3-1, everybody was just so hyped and whatever. And then when they were starting to come back, and then we were good game, 5 and 6. But like when we lost the Game 6, man, going to Auckland, in the bus, I look at people's eyes. Everybody was just so down, because they just couldn't believe that, they were coming back. But when they won Game 7, I think every player in the locker room was crying.
Wow.
Yep. Everybody, I saw everybody. And I looked around, I put my head up, I looked around, everybody was crying in the locker room. It was just tough because we knew that if we would have beat, Golden State, we could have beat Cleveland.
Oh,
so
easily.
That was like, man, I can't believe, we blew it out.
I thought you guys were the best playoff team that year. Mm-hmm. And we did a rewatchables on Game 6 for the Book of Basketball podcast. Mm-hmm. So we really watched that game carefully. It's a pretty fluky game. I think it's a game where Clay has to be that unbelievable and that great for you guys to lose, because you guys played pretty well. You actually played well in that game. But and then the last 5 minutes, the pressure of it and the fact that every time you think you have them on the ropes, Clay makes a shot or Steph makes a shot. And then I really think the last 4 minutes, like you guys just got rattled. The crowd gets nervous. And I've been in arenas where that happens, where sometimes that's worse when it happens at home, because you can feel it, right? You can feel it in the air. Everybody's like, oh shit, what's happening? And that's just one of those games. It's a great fork in the road game, because do you think KD leaves if you guys win the title?
If you would have won that title that year, I don't think KD would have leave.
I don't think he would have either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he would have leave. Because obviously, all the people of OKC gave him everything. The fans, the organization, coaching staff, the players, they loved him so much. He was just part of our family, So I feel like if he would have win, I don't think he would have leave.
I think he would have at least signed like a 1-and-1 deal and come back to like defend it. And if you guys lost, then he leaves, something like that.
That was the plan. After actually we lost, we were like, hey, we know what we can capable of. So let's just come back again next year and try to win it all.
When did you realize he was leaving?
I heard that. He obviously didn't tell anybody. He told us. No, he didn't say it. I just saw it on Twitter. I just saw it on Twitter.
Really? So you didn't even see any signs?
No signs. Nothing. We just saw it on Twitter, and then everybody, I was shocked. I'm like, wow, like why?
Do you think is he the best forward other than LeBron that's been in the league since you joined the league?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. He is the best scorer for sure.
Where would you put him against Kawhi?
That's a tough question.
Because that would be the battle for the number 2 spot, right?
Yeah. Kawhi is a two-way player, so like defend. But KD's a better scorer. I'll take Kawhi over my thing, but KD's a way better scorer.
Interesting. Did you see the whole Westbrook when KD leaves and everybody's like, oh, okay, it's done. OKC's done. That's it. Did you see what was going to happen with Westbrook? he basically became the star of a superhero movie for a year and turns into the walking triple double, all that stuff. Like, could you have guessed that?
I mean, he gave everything he had, man. I mean, I saw this guy was hurt, still trying to go out there and play basketball. Cause like, I mean, we wanted to prove something. We wanted to show something. Like we still got it. We still can do it. And this guy just gave everything he had. I mean, this guy averaged a triple double 2 3 years in a row. I don't think,
Yeah.
and not many players can do that ever. But he tried to give everything he had, man. I know so many times he was hurt, so many times, he had a lot of pain, but he still went out there with his teammates and try to battle.
The thing that was strange to watch from afar, because usually when guys are doing that and they're like the one man show to that degree,
Mm-hmm.
there's usually with the teammates, you can just kind of see it sometimes. Like, all right, this sucks. I'm going to get 4 shots today, or I'm not going to get the ball, or I'm basically just setting picks for this guy. But it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like you guys were all really pulling for him. And
Of course,
I thought that dynamic was really strange, that all of you guys were really invested in his success in a way that I thought for the NBA was a little bit unusual.
I mean, no, we were just. I mean, he was making history, man, and we were just. I mean, for his team, we were just so happy to be part of the history. Obviously, he won an MVP that year, and he averaged triple double and everything. When he actually broke the Oscar's Robert 42 triple double, you should have seen the locker room, and everybody was just celebrating it, and it's like we won a championship because it's like when he does something, it's like it's on all of us, because we all try to help him to get there, and he
Right.
knows that, and we were just so happy for him, and he was just so happy to be made history with us.
All right, it's been 3 years. You can admit it. How many rebounds did you kind of let him have over the course of the 82 games? Like,
Oh my
was it
God.
like 1 a game? You just kind of let him have it?
I'll tell you this. I promise you, man. Like, no, like people think that I let like the big
You and
actually
Adams.
let
If it was like you and Adams are just letting him have the rebounds.
I promise though that that's what people think. But like, no, I was literally going out, but this dude got like another, layer. The jumper, he was just going out and getting rebounds. I mean, it's not. That's what people think, that me and Steven Adams just let him get all the rebounds. I mean, that year I averaged like seven something rebounds, and Steven
Right.
Adams like averaged the same. So that was on him, man. He was just going out there and just getting all the rebounds.
Who do you think, so you came in the league, the 2011 draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best athlete? I'm not talking basketball player. I'm saying best athlete of that decade that you've been in basketball games with. Because Westbrook would be one of the candidates. LeBron would be in there
I'll probably that too. I'll probably put that two on the top. Katie and I was actually after Katie. Sorry, Russ and LeBron,
as top
because
2.
that's top two. And like the thing is, like with Russ is like I don't know how, because like whenever we go to like a hotel, OKC's rules are very strict. We have to eat always organic, right?
Yeah.
This dude was he ordered his unorganic food because he was saying like organic food doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
Or like when he was in a plane, he was eating chips, gummy bears, drinking samples. I'm like, how do you eat like this and just perform like this? Like it's wild.
Yeah, they used to say Iverson was like that too. There's certain guys who are just like genetically they're on some other plane where it doesn't matter what they eat, doesn't matter if they sleep.
Yeah, so like Sabonis was a rookie that year. Sabonis was rookie that year, and then one of his rookie duties was bringing Sinapple in the plane for us every road trip, right? So Sabonis one time brought him a diet Sinapple, and Russ was going crazy. He's like, "What are you doing? I don't want diet Sinapple." And Sabonis was sitting next to him, and he was like, he's an athlete. I thought he didn't want to drink normal Sinapple."
Did you see what was coming with Sabonis? Because he's one of the 25 best players in the league now.
I'll be honest with you now. Sorry.
Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, there you are.
Sorry. No.
Okay.
Yes, someone called me. I'll be honest with you now. Because like when he was going against me and Steven Adams, right? One-on-one. It was his first year. I mean, me and Steven Adams was just, just was going at him hard every time. Like we were not taking any. But what made me like so surprised about him, he never gave up.
Yeah.
Never give up. Obviously, me and Steven Adams was like being in the league for like 5, 6, 7 years at that time. But like we were like trying to bully him every time, but he was just like trying to stand against us. I'm like, wow, this dude is like got the fire in him. But when he get traded to Indiana, I talked to him that night. I'm like, dude, listen, I was there before I got traded, but the important thing is, man, now it's just have fun with it. That's your city now. Just now, you and Vic just go out and have fun. And man, the process that he has made is just so unbelievable, man. He's having fun. He's making himself better. He's making everybody else better around him. So I'm happy for him.
Well, it's interesting to watch a big with the way basketball is played now, where it's just basically like, all right, everybody's staying around the 3-point line and shoot threes. And he's doing a whole bunch of stuff, right? He's posting up, he's trying to draw double teams, finding people, stuff like that. That's kind of become a lost art. I mean, you're the ultimate example of that. You're the kind of guy that in 1985, you just, that was like the era you should have played in. You're in the wrong era.
I know.
And you go back and watch like the 1999 playoffs and you would have like loved it. You would have been playing like 40 minutes a game. But I've been impressed by how he's able to flip that. Did you see the Oladipo thing coming?
Oladipo? I mean, I knew. I mean, obviously, when he was in Orlando, he was a really good player. But then when he came to us, he actually got hurt a little bit, and then he came back. I mean, he was always a skilled player, but I didn't know he was going to be an all-star.
Right.
But like when he went to Indiana, man, I was like, okay, I'm going to put the whole Indiana on my back. This is my city now. I'm just going to just carry the whole team. So, I mean, and he did it.
What happened with you and Adams when you guys finally separated? Because
you
guys were like a buddy cop movie. It was one of my favorite combos in the league. It was really fun to watch you guys play together, and there was a lot of comedy that came out of it too. It was sad.
Well, one thing about me and Steven Adams, obviously we play in the same position, but there were never jealousy. We always try to push each other to get better. We knew our role. We know what can we do on the court. But like what matters, man, important to just off the court, building those friendships, relationship with your teammates, because the basketball will gonna end like what 14, 15 the total year if you play.
Yeah.
But like important thing is the bridges you made when you were playing basketball. So Steven Adams, man, he was one of my best friends in the league. Still is. I'm still talking to him. I remember the last year Portland OKC series. We literally texted every after practice.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, next time I see him, I'll punch you in the stomach. Next time we got to do. So we was all trash talking to each other after the games, during the games. But he's a good man. He's real.
Is it possible for him to feel pain or no? Can he feel pain? Does he have pain sensors in his body? I feel like he could play with like a broken leg. He could play like 30 minutes.
I think I would just say this, man. He is the most strongest man in the whole league.
Yeah.
Like there's so many debates out there. Okay, who is whatever. I see one player that's stronger than him was Pekovic, and Pekovic retired or gone in the league now. I think I'll say Steven Adams. But like when me and him was playing like 1-on-1, you could like hear the bones cracking. This dude is just in a different level, man.
Is he your number one choice if you're about to be in a bar fight and you needed one NBA player with you?
I'm taking Marcus Smart.
Wow! What a win for the Celtics!
I'm taking Smarty.
Yeah, I will say this is the thing Jalen Rose and I used to always talk about the difference between NBA tough and actual tough, and sometimes when things go down on the court and people act NBA tough, and then there's other guys who are like, I'm actually ready to fight. If you guys want to do this, I'm here right now. Marcus is one of those guys. He's not afraid of literally anything.
When he loses it, he loses it, trust me. And like in NBA, there's not many like real fights. Like maybe once or twice happens because they know like if you throw a punch, it's a $50,000 fine.
Right.
Throwing a punch. or like they know that the ref's gonna come and just spread them out. So there's not really like real fights out there. But off the court, man, I'm definitely taking Smarty. He will go to war with you, and he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't complain about it.
So Marcus Smart and Steven Adams start eyeballing each other on the court. We should all run for our lives.
Exactly.
You go to Portland and you get to play with Dame.
Mm-hmm.
How would you compare him from a superstar, way he carries himself, work ethic, all that stuff, to KD, Russ, and some of the other great guys you played with?
Oh man, I feel like I picked Portland Trail Blazers. So after I was done with the Knicks. Gladly, I was done with the Knicks. I had two choices. It was either Lakers or Portland. Because of Dame and because of I knew CJ, I wanted to pick Portland because you see, like when you see Dame, you understand why the whole Portland is built around him. And when you have a leader like that, I mean, he only cares about his teammates. He only cares about going out there and winning and competing and stuff. And like we saw that in the last year playoffs, man. I mean, that dude, CJ and Dame, it was like unstoppable.
And I thought you were one of the big winners of that playoffs too, because you were like legit hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that one game? It was, what was it, 4 overtimes?
Oh my God. So the reason I got hurt because of Steven Adams. So like me and Steven Adams was going against each other in the playoffs, and I separated my shoulder. And after that, we beat that series and we went against, Denver. And obviously Jokic is not an easy guard to guard. But that 4 overtime game, man, I was like, I never seen anything like that before. I think it was one of the toughest games I ever played.
Well, Nurkic was out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
he was out, yeah.
And so it was basically you and Zach Collins, who was like 12 years old, who just got in the league. And you got to handle Jokic, and you're playing with one arm. And it was a pretty memorable game. I remember watching that. Anytime it gets past the second overtime, I just root for both teams to tie every overtime because I want to be like, I want to see this first 7 overtime game. I'm sure you're not feeling the same way though. Playing
no,
like,
man.
Please can this end?
Just going one shoulder against Jokic, and Jokic. I mean, I saw his picture now. He lost a lot of weight, but back then he was a heavy dude, very heavy, and he plays dirty. I don't know if you guys ever see him doing some dirty stuff, but he plays very dirty. So
what, little tiny elbows that people don't see? What
just
is it?
Elbows and just some weird stuff, whatever, like elbows or pulls, and I don't know, some different stuff. But going against him for overtime was tough. But it was just amazing, man. Like I think he is the most skilled big man in the whole league.
I was going to ask you who was the best big man just from trying to guard people. Who is the toughest one you've had this decade? Is it him?
I don't want to. So is Anthony Davis counts as a big man? It's a 5 man. If you count him, then him. But if you say a 5 man, like real 5,
old school.
I'm going between the Joel or Jokic. But you know what? I'll pick Jokic. The reason is the passing. You cannot send him no double teams or you just dead.
Right.
That's what makes him really special. Just the passing part.
Yeah, he is that, and Joel just has you're praying that he's not in 100% good shape.
Exactly. That's true.
The year that he decides he's going to be in superhuman shape, it's going to be a problem. But he hasn't totally unlocked that yet. It's going to happen at some point in the next 3-4 years.
I mean, he's working on it, man. He's a good dude. He's working on it.
Who's your favorite guy in the league that you haven't played with that you just really respect and you're like, oh man, it would have been fun to play with that dude? Because you're
played against
a guy that you haven't played with yet.
Because
you're this fun-loving guy, but you also are a competitive guy. So there's other, there's this weird fun-loving competitive group. Is there anybody who you're like, oh man, I would have loved to have played with that dude?
I respect Giannis a lot. I respect James Harden a lot. And Kawhi. Probably that three is definitely that I'm like, wow, it'll be very different, very special to play with these guys. I mean, obviously you can't say enough about yeah, Giannis's game. Also James Harden. I played with James Harden in New York and like some of the runs, the summer runs
Yep.
that we had, and he was just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's like a video game.
It's like people always talk about how he scored. He can like pass the ball like crazy. You know,
Yeah.
his vision is unbelievable. Probably that three.
We left Giannis out of the greatest athletes of the decade list. That was probably a mistake.
Exactly. You know what? We forgot about him. Yep.
Well, because he's actually an alien, so sometimes you forget. We were only talking about human beings. What was your one big takeaway of your Knicks experience? Your brief Knicks experience?
I'm trying to give you a good one.
So that might have been the takeaway. Is that you 5 seconds of silence?
I mean, listen, man. Before Fizdale gets there, before like the year before, you know, they move all the pieces. Like, I mean, when JP was healthy, I'll say we had a really good run, man. It was me, Tim Hardaway, Jared Jack, and Porzingis, and Courtney Lee and stuff. So we had a pretty good run. After before we lost KP, we were like almost in a playoff race. But then we lost KP. Then everything started to change, you know.
And he was playing really well when he got hurt. He was like a 27-10 every night, basically.
Yeah, every night. I mean, the thing he does just. That's why they call him unicorn. He can pretty much do everything. You know, like you see like a 7'3" dude just put the ball on the floor and dribbles like a point guard and shoots like a forward and plays like a big man. That's a weird combination, you know. But after we lost him, man, things just started to get bad and bad. You know, it was not the same.
Yeah, it was. This happens sometimes with the NBA over the years, where you have a young guy who's really emerging as a star and a potential superstar, and they get injured at the worst possible time. And it felt like that happened there, where it was like that was literally the worst time he could have gotten hurt, right as he was making the leap. You know.
And the next year that we had was just bad.
Right. Were you there? What were you there? A year and a half?
Year and a half. So like,
oh my God.
That half year.
You probably blocked it out.
The year was good. The first year was good, but the half year, man, it was just tough. They were sitting players. They were sitting the starters, and it was just really bad. I remember one time, Coach Fitz called me in his room. I got nervous. I'm like, man, you know, it's like going to a principal's office, you know, like, what is he going to say? I went to his room. He's like, look, this is what happens when you're a good player playing in a bad team. From now on, we're going to sit you down. I'm like, what? Because like that hurts. Because that hurts. The reason it hurts is like you work so hard whole summer to get ready for the season. And you give everything you had, right? And just because of things are not going the way they wanted, they just sit in the good players and trying to, I don't know, and you know what they're trying to do. It just hurts, you know. So
and then you have the fans going, "This is the right thing to do."
Exactly. I mean,
we need to lose.
I just don't know, like, because like, listen, man, my job is to go out there and win every game and compete. That's what I'm getting paid for. If someone else tells me to do opposite, I'm not going to do it. You know, I don't care who you are, but I'm not going to go out there and do anything else but win. So like, for me, it was just weird, man. Well, they got the third pick. So
yeah, that sucks. It's so funny. Where you've actually played, where you're in New York, which is the greatest basketball city for everything, but you had the worst experience you could have had for what it could have been. You're in Boston, which is just a top 5 basketball city with the best tradition, great front office organization. And then you're in OKC, Portland, and Utah, which are all, we only have one professional team.
Yeah, one major sport.
And it's like, and they're all like crazy about the team because there's no other team. It's like 365 days. Out of those 3, who was the single basketball craziest?
Probably, I will just say OKC. Definitely OKC.
Wow, over Portland. What a loss for Portland.
No, Portland was amazing too, man. Like, Portland, trust me. Like, I was actually debating in my head which one is like the craziest fans. I mean, they both have the craziest fans, but probably like I will say definitely OKC is like something else because of like because of like the people don't notice, but like the first day, whoever, if you're if you're a coach, if you're or a player, Sam, the GM is taking you to Oklahoma Memorial Museum because of the
Right.
Oklahoma bombing. Yeah, so he was saying every time you go out there, think about what's this city, what this state been through. So go out there and play for this,
Yeah.
play for those fans. So like whenever we out there, we're just like giving everything we had, and then no matter what, we up 20, down 20, they always have each other's back, and it was one of the amazing experience I had.
Wow. So we talked a little bit earlier about your game in the 70s, 80s, and
I
90s
know
versus where the league is now. How much do you think about that? Because
a lot.
first of all, I should have mentioned this earlier, but my dad, who has been going, he's been a season ticket holder since 1974.
Uh-huh.
One of his favorite things are guys, low post guys who get
Yep.
offensive rebounds. So he's always loved that. And the Celtics, you don't know this because you're not a lifelong Celtics fan. They haven't had a lot of those guys. Like we had Ed
Hmm.
Pinckney in the early 90s, and he was just a great offensive rebounder. So when we got you, my dad was like, this is my guy. I love guys like this. And yet there's certain games where the matchup is like we can't play Kanter. Like
Yep,
that team's
like
too
Rockets.
small. Yeah, Rockets. I think, but then there's other games where it's like we should be playing him more. Like he actually could be
Mhm.
destroying these guys. And Stevens has to figure out game. I think you're the hardest guy on the team for him to figure out when to kind of
Mhm.
unleash you versus when is the wrong game. Do you feel that going in where you're like, fuck, we're playing the Rockets tonight. I'm probably not going to play that much.
I mean, we already have this good conversation like with Coach Brad. I mean, because like our goal is to just go out there and win, right? Win that
Yeah.
game. So like going to the game, I know what my role is. I'm obviously I've been in the league for like almost 10 years now. But going to the game, I know what I can do, what I cannot do. Obviously when you play with the Rockets, I mean, this it's just like a crazy matchup. You
Right.
cannot put me or you cannot put any of the bigs or on who Russ or James
Right.
Harden or they play different kind of basketball. But like you said, man, the basketball era changed a lot. Now it's you don't really see a back to basket players anymore. It's all about pick and pop, shooting threes and stuff. Like I said again, whenever I watch a clip of like the 80s and 90s, I'm like, man, like you said, I played in a wrong era. I wish I played in the back in the day with those guys. But I mean, you just gotta know your role. It's just like when a game comes that like Lakers, it's all about the big mans. You got like
It's good for
Davis, you
you.
got
Yeah.
Dwight, yeah, you got Joel McGee. So like I know that game is my game. But when you go against like a Rockets, you're like, okay, they're gonna keep like trying to play ISO games and shoot threes and stuff. I know that night is not my night. So like I respect Brad a lot, man. I know his basketball like is very high. So that's his team. Whatever he wants, that we have to be okay with it.
I think one of the reasons I like the Celtics team potentially to do some damage is because of the lineup flexibility and where they can go small, they can go medium, they can go
Yep.
big, depending on the opponent. The Clippers, those games are really interesting because if they're playing Zubats, then that's
Hmm.
you're in. You can go and you can actually
Yep.
score on him, get him into foul trouble, stuff like that. When they're playing Harrell, now they can do pick and roll with Harrell and Lou Williams or whoever, and they're just trying to constantly get you so that all of a sudden you're guarding Lou Williams or you're guarding Paul George. But on the other end, you could post up Harrell.
Yep.
So then if you're Stevens, you're like, all right, well, on the one end,
Yep.
Kanter can post up. He's going to get boards. Like, this is a great matchup for us. And
Right.
on the defensive end, they're just going to attack him every time. So it's like, what do I do? And it's fascinating to watch just as a fan because it's like a chess match.
It is like a chess match. I mean, like I said again, man, we trust Coach Brad. I have
Yeah.
like also we have Grant Williams and Daniel Tice. These
Yeah.
can guard like 3, 4, 5s. Like they can guard 3, 4, 5. So like we have everything. We have a really deep bench. You can literally throw in anybody like Grant if they can go on small Houston Rockets or or even the Daniel Tice, or if they're going big, they can throw me, or maybe
Yeah.
even Taco in a couple years. But like, we have so many different, pieces that can go with anything.
Did you expect that Taco was going to be the most popular Celtic?
Whenever I watched him in a summer league, I was like, this dude is gonna be a not a superstar, mega star, because like a rock star. Because
Yeah.
like this, his personality, man, is just so amazing, man. Like very humble, down to earth dude, loves to work, goes hard. He people don't know about him, but he trash talks a lot.
Really?
As a for a rookie, man, God, like whenever we play one on one and stuff, he trash talks. As you know, the bigs in the Celtics, he does trash talk a lot. But like, he's a good dude, man. Good dude to be around. Every team needs a guy like that.
I got to say he's way more coordinated
Exactly.
and
Yep.
and kind of nimble than you would
Hmm.
expect. He's not just some big stiff that's running around putting his hands up. He's actually like pretty coordinated.
He is actually pretty athletic for a 7'6" dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, like
Yeah, he's
how
not
he runs. Yep.
because they've had other tall guys who come in, but they can, they're like mummified. They can barely
Yep. Yep.
but he's actually
Walk.
pretty good. You were pretty early this decade on the whole social justice thing.
Hmm.
And this has been a big theme of everybody going back in the bubble and what this regular season playoffs is going to be. It's the dominant theme that we have in this country and
Hmm.
in the league right now. What has your experiences with this stuff told you for what's about to happen?
About all the social justice issues, man, I know what is it like to fight for freedom and justice. And I mean, you know the situation between me and Turkey. But when my teammates and everybody was just fighting for the one cause and it's justice, I was like, you know what? I want to be part of this because this is not about black and white. This is about everyone against racism, right? So like that was one of the biggest reasons that I drove actually 20 hours Chicago to Boston just because I wanted to peacefully protest with my city. And
Yeah.
I actually wore my jersey to that because I want people to know that Celtics and NBA got your back. And it just this, this time of period showed us so much that we have so many great leaders like LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, especially Jaylen Brown, man. I can't say when he's done with his career, he's not going to be only known as just a basketball player. The
Yeah.
work he does off the court is just unbelievable.
What is the situation with you in Turkey right now?
I mean, my dad finally has his freedom after 7 years going in and out of jail and court, Turkish courts. But like the pressure, like I'm telling to my teammates here too, like the pressure you put on a government, authoritarian government, especially, it works. We've been fighting against the Turkish government for 7 years now, but like the the support I got from my teammates, from my coaches, NBA fans, NBA families, and all the like the media outlets and reporters gave me so much hope and strength to fight against a dictatorship in Turkey. So like for me, it was amazing, man, because like when your teammate like Russ or like Dame or CJ or KD or all the like like now it's like Kemba, Jason or Jalen were like supporting you, it just automatically gives you so much strength to fight against the authoritarian regime. So like I can't thank enough about all my NBA family.
I know it's a tough thing to talk about, but you come to America to play in the
Hmm.
NBA, but you're from Turkey. That's your place.
Right.
You're representing them. You've
Hmm.
obviously an incredible connection with the country. And then over the course of the decade, as you're here, the country is saying, this guy doesn't count to us anymore.
Hmm.
He's out. We're out on him. What was that like? I mean, how much pain was that for you personally as you're trying to balance being a basketball player?
When I got drafted, before my name, they said from Turkey, right? And that made me like very proud and happy. And now, like my own country literally calls me a terrorist. And whenever they say, I actually answer them back and say, the only thing I terrorize is the basketball rim. And we just laugh with my teammates because they know what kind of person I am, what kind of personality I have. Always, just try to help others and stuff. But what hurts me the most is other Turkish players in the league. We
Mm.
have Ersan Ilyasova. We have Cedi Osman in Cleveland. We have Furkan Korkmaz in Philly. Whenever we go against them, they don't say a word. I
Really?
actually I actually try to talk to them. I'm like, hey dude, like, what's up? How you doing? No answer. Because like when I try to actually like because like they might like be scared of like a Turkish government that if they see a pictures or video of us talking or something, then they might be in trouble, whatever. So like I actually cover my mouth with the jersey and just try to talk to them. They turn their face the other way, you know? That was a
And
position.
these are guys you've known your whole life, right?
I know, especially Ersan. I played with him in the same team with OKC. I played with a national team. Jedi and Furkan play with my brother in national team. So I know him from a long time. I actually like whenever they get hurt, I message him on Instagram and say, "Hey, get well, brother." But no answer. But like that's the thing that hurts me the most because like they're just scared. They don't know any better. But
Yeah.
whenever I sit down and have a conversation, try to have a conversation with them in a game, no answer. That's probably that hurts me the most.
That sucks. Do
Yeah.
you fear for your own safety?
I'm in touch with FBI a lot here. I have always like a conversation with them and stuff. But when I was playing for Portland, um, yeah, my friends told me it's not safe to stay in a house because there were so many death threats. So they told me to stay in a hotel. So when I was in a road game, actually FBI came to my hotel room in Portland. They set up this thing called a panic button. Uh, it was right next to my bed. They said whenever you feel uncomfortable, whenever just feel threatened or something, just push that button. We'll be there in 2 3 minutes. In America, no, because like there are rules and laws. I don't think they can do some kind of operations in America, but other countries for sure, yeah, because they actually put my name on Interpol, a red notice system. So like I basically count as an international criminal.
So
When we
you can't leave America then.
I cannot leave America. So
Yeah.
I'm actually becoming an American citizen next year in
Oh,
June.
congrats.
I know I'm so excited about it. But so when I become an American citizen, I can live. Actually, this year in Christmas game, we have to go to Toronto and Canada for a Christmas game. But we had to get in touch with the Justin Trudeau's office. We had to get in touch with some of the lawmakers there, and it just gave me so much. It made me very happy that they said just hey, tell him to not worry about it. He could come in the country, play his game peacefully, and leave. So there was no problem.
When you were talking about your relationship with the other Turkish players, we
Hmm.
did when I was at ESPN, I was one of the people who did 30 for 30. We did a documentary called Once Brothers, which was one of my
Hmm.
favorite ones that we did about Vlade Divac and Drazen Petrovic,
Okay, yeah,
who were on the same team and grew up in Yugoslavia, and then Yugoslavia split and they stopped speaking to each other. And then Drazen tragically died in a car accident, but Vlade, they were like super close.
yeah,
And it got to the point, much like you described, where they're on a basketball court, not acknowledging each other. And it was whatever was going on in their home country
yeah,
had completely overpowered any sort of relationship
yeah.
they could have here. But then Drazen dies, and Vlade had a hard time dealing with it. And that was what we made the documentary about. But that it's such a unique circumstance, and it's really only happened a couple times in the league.
I respect them a lot, man. I mean, obviously, they in the end, because in the end, those players, that 3 players I just counted, representing Turkey, you know. So like, I actually, whenever we play against them, I actually pray for them. I'm like, I
Yeah.
hope we win the game, but I hope they play good, because like in the end, they're representing their family, they're representing their country, their flag, their people. So like, I got a lot of respect for them, man. But like, what they doing, I don't blame him because I understand like they are scared, whatever. But
Yeah.
when these things are all just settled down and when this regime changes, I am sure that they will change their mind.
Have you noticed any disturbing similarities between America right now and Turkey?
It's I feel like it's very sad, but I feel like it's getting there because like in America, you turn on the news, there's so much negative news out there. People attacking each other. This side is attacking this side is attacking the other side. But like, we should have one goal. Like, people forgetting that. The goal should be like, how can we make this country better together? It's
Right.
not a fight against Republicans or Democrats. It's a fight like, how can we get through this together? Because we have one enemy to beat right now. It's the coronavirus, right? But
Yeah.
you turn on the news. This side is attacking that side. This side is attacking the other side. I mean, sure, people can do wrong stuff or whatever. You're not gonna like anything that people do, but like, I feel like we need to just like forget about all that BS and just like focus on, just how can we get through this together.
What about Haydu Turkoglu? You
Oh
talked to him?
man. So the thing is, that's a big another story. So Hido Turkoglu, man, he was actually one of the biggest reasons that I stopped playing basketball.
I would imagine
And
he was like the first
oh,
Turkish
he was
hero.
he was like a Jordan. He was like a
Yeah.
Turkish Jordan, and that's what actually they could call him. But I played with him in the same team in Turkish national team 2011. I came in the league. He helped me so much. Then these things are starting. He picked the president side. Now he literally goes to every media outlet in Turkey and try to trash my
Ah,
name. And that just broke my heart, because I mean, he was one of my idols. He was one of my heroes, and I still
right.
respect him as a basketball player. But then Turkish president, gave him a job. He's now the head of Turkish national team. He just has so much benefits from the government side, and it just now he's like, he count me as his enemy. It just saddened me, because what he did on the court, it was just unbelievable. He represented his country. One year he was the most improved player. Uh, the year he was against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers was unbelievable. Him and Dwight with
Oh
Orlando.
nine, oh nine Magic.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, yeah. So I respect him so much, man. But like, now, because of all that stuff, now he's literally trying to go to every media outlet and try to, trash my name.
What's the case against you in Turkey? What do they say? What
So
are they
here's
saying when
so
they're trying to trash you?
here's the thing. So like, in America, you like things or you don't like things. You can talk about it. You like the president or you hate the president. There's a freedom of speech. You can say about it. You can talk about it,
Right.
right? You can criticize the government. You can criticize the president. In Turkey, that's not the case. In Turkey, if you criticize the government, if you criticize the president, you're a bad guy. I mean, you look at all my interviews. You look at all my op-eds. Only thing I want in my country is freedom, democracy, and human rights. But just because I want those things, people say, "Oh, he's against his country." Turkey is the number one country in the world that put most journalists in a jail, more than China. And there are 17,000 innocent women are in jail right now just because of their political views. And there's so many reports out there, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Human Rights Foundation. These women are getting raped and tortured. So, like, of course, I'm going to talk about these issues. And just because of this coronavirus, right? Turkish government decided to free all the serial killers, child rapists, just human traffickers, mafia leaders, but they decided to keep all the political prisoners and journalists in a jail. I mean, come on now. If the virus spreads in a jail, there will be lots of death, which is already spread in the Turkish jails.
Right.
I mean, just because of I talk about these issues, obviously affected me and my family. And my dad was a genetic professor. He got fired from his job. My sister went to medical school for 6 years. She cannot find no job. My little brother, actually, he's in America now, was playing basketball. He literally got kicked out of every team. So my family had to put a statement out there and said, we are disowning Enes. And Turkish government didn't believe that. They sent police to my house in Turkey and they raided the whole house and they took every electronics away, phones, computers, laptops, because they
Jesus.
wanted to see if I'm still in contact with my family or not. And if they were to see any text message or email or missed call, they will be all in jail. So last time I saw my family was 2015. And last time I talked to my family was, I can't even remember. It was a long time ago.
Wow. 5 years?
5 years. Last time I was in Turkey was 2015.
And you have
And
no way
since
to communicate them at all? They can't even do it? Like, you must be able to do it through third parties, right?
so like it's a big risk because
Yeah.
they listen everything. I just
Yeah.
don't want to take that risk. My dad is finally has this freedom. I just don't want to, just mess up everything.
Right, right, right.
Um, my brother, my other brother plays basketball in Spain, Badalona. I mean, he sent me pictures of my mom and dad sometimes. But you can see like when you don't see him too long, you're like, man, my mom is getting old, my dad is gaining weight and stuff. So like the toughest part is like after the games, right? Everybody goes to the court and take pictures with their family and talk to their mom and hug their dad and stuff. So I only have this one picture of my mom, and I just look at it and say, okay, let's keep going. Because like this is the question I get a lot from my teammates. Are you crazy? Because like they're like, listen, dude, like you're an NBA player, just keep your mouth shut, make your millions, and just live a happy life. Why are you talking about these issues? But people don't understand. My dad is only one. My family is only one family. And you guys know my story because I play in NBA. But there are 1,000 stories out there. Their situation is way worse than mine just because of their political views.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I know it's a lot on me and my family, but I have to do this for innocent people.
Man. I mean, you think like some of the stars we have now are in a similar position that I think they've embraced, where it's like, I have to say stuff now. I have to stand for things. We are in a moment in time. I have to do something, which is, how you felt with your own country for a long time. So,
Yeah, it's important, man, because like whenever we talk about these issues, of course, it's gonna take a lot on you too. Like you're never gonna get big contracts. You're never gonna get big endorsement deals. Obviously, like my actually my agency, you probably know Mark Balish, one of the biggest
yeah,
agency in America. I told them like, how come I don't have a shoe deal? They said they actually said we're literally talking to every company. Recently, we just talked to Nike. They said they love you, they want to give you a contract, but they're scared. Because they know that for one player, they don't want to go against the whole country. They don't want to lose the whole country because they know what Turkey will do to all the Nike stores in Turkey if Nike gives me a contract. So like,
right.
whatever.
Jesus. Well, at least life is back to normal right now with hoops, and
I know
you have 8 regular
exactly.
season games and a couple playoff rounds, and the best thing you could do is make the finals, and everybody
I
can
know,
see your
man.
face in finals games.
Basketball is my only escape, man. Because like whenever I'm out there on the court with my teammates, man, I forget about everything. I just go out there, have fun with them and stuff. And the other crazy part is, so whichever team I play for, they don't show those games in Turkey. They censor those games. And
Really?
like, yeah, it was a last year. They actually made it publicly. It's actually on internet. You can look at it. They made it publicly and said like, even Enes made the playoffs, we are not going to show any of his games. So yes, last year we made the conference finals against Golden State. No game. They did not show one game, and people like started to get mad at me. I'm like, what did I do? I'm just going to play
Right.
basketball. So this year, no Celtics game in Turkey. They have to go to some kind of like VPN codes to put some like weird codes to watch those games.
That I don't like that at all, especially
Yeah.
because I'm hoping you guys are playing many rounds. Well, look, it's been awesome to have you on my favorite team. I've always enjoyed your game,
Yeah.
and it's been a really fun team to watch. And I look forward to seeing what everybody does on and off the court over the next 4 months. But thanks for all the time, and thanks for all the honesty too. I really
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
brother, man. I know. I
All right,
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
all right, stay safe.
Yep.
Thanks, man. That was great. I really enjoyed it.
No problem,
It
man.
was
No,
good
thank you
finally
so much.
talking to you. Yeah. All
I
right.
know,
Say hi
right?
to everybody.
I appreciate it.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Take care.